All right, Taco, here we have it. We already know Frenzy Fields is on fire as we've seen a number of different teams start to jump in and throw their hats in the ring, if you will. There hasn't been a same outcome, right? Every game has been so very different here with the Fencing Fields. As first, though, we get to see Felon and Backtalk against Crackly and Derola here. Crackly and Derola have had, I'd say, quite the performance so far.
Definitely been relatively consistent throughout the course of the 3 lobbies that have taken place so far, but here in game number 4, they want to make sure that they just do one step above the rest. Everybody's still searching for their first victory royale here in game number 4. It's Paco and Mixon. Their run could get cut short here if they're not careful against the likes of Max and Smiley, but Mixon, thankfully, will secure a shield potion. That's gonna definitely put Mixon and Paco in a much more favorable spot, but it does cost Mixon all of his chug splashes. So now Max, Smiley, still somewhat on the hunt here. You can tell they really want to clear out Paco and Mixon because it would just ensure that their loop path is all the smoother, but they haven't really had an opportunity to get their Max online in general. Max trying to build up, but he's making sure to stick close to his duo, Smiley. Doesn't want to split that far and find himself in a precarious position. But if they continue to hesitate, that could be the prime opportunity, the opening, essentially, that Mixon and Paco need to just reestablish their footing. And sure enough, Max and Smiley, they're going to actually break off altogether. Just opt to fall back to the shores and see if maybe they could try and reaggress later on after getting a little bit more materials and loot.
Yeah, there's definitely an option there, but I think Max and company are going to be happy with getting a couple tags there and backing off, as they haven't been the winners of the drop game after game. So sometimes you just want to get your feet down on the ground and actually play one out. That's, I'm assuming, what Back and Feline would like to do here, but D-Roller and Crackly have just been the stronger duo overall. A little bit more consistent here. They have the high ground. The structure's trying to get broken up from underneath them, so they have to come down. D-Roller misses the important tag, and they lose their advantage. And Crackly makes a mistake, but D-Roller claps back here and puts his team in the conversation. Back against the wall, though, unfortunately, it doesn't give him enough room to work with there. And just like that, Feline and company end up winning the exchange.
Is it really a win, though? That's with the Thunderbolt of Zeus is going to make them contemplate. Blake also was attempting to try and keep himself and Macwood in the conversation here for game number 4, but Golden making sure to shut that one down. Golden's got to be quick about it, though, here at Grand Glacier. Sure, he might be the lone survivor currently, but if he doesn't get this reboot off onto Ozone ASAP, he's going to have to worry about those teams that could be making their way over, especially coming out of Summit Base Camp, Summit Temple again. You got Bravo, Percent, Curve, and Tyler, 2 duos, where if they hear the sound of that reboot band going off, Monster, you have to imagine that they're going to want to immediately pounce upon that opportunity, take full advantage of a team that's clearly struggling a little bit in the early game.
Yeah, we've seen Glacier be contested a few times by late third parties, but let's jump in with the conversation here at the Classic Courts. It does seem like it's about 3 teams in the conversation here. Damage already being done to the late rotator coming in. Teams on the outskirts, there's a lot happening. Backing over to Paco and Mixon. So from the drop, they get their materials, they get their HP, and they push through a team. This is a completely different elimination pickup there. That's onto Veer and his duo. Very nicely done for them.
It's kind of crazy, too, considering that Freeze and Veer, they're initially contested over at Brawler's Battleground by Threats and Sphinx. So for them to rotate this far west to clash up against Paco and Mixon at Lovely Lodge, it's almost seemed like Paco and Mixon, they've just been fighting every step of the way so far. And it doesn't seem as though that aggression is going to fall off anytime soon. So they definitely got to keep their wits about them. But it seems as though they're handing out responses that these other teams in NA might not have necessarily been anticipating. Poor Muzz, man.
Yeah, not looking good for Muzz, but just on the topic of Peko Mixon, you know, last game, we found them in the water, right? Doing this, like, crazy dead side rotate, and then they made endgame, and they played, I think, pretty well. That could have been a confidence boost, because this game is much different. Like, we're seeing a more aggressive Peko Mixon, but look at Muzz, man, putting up the numbers as a solo right now. In the fit, let's see it. He's taking walls and pushing players back. I mean, that's all the respect you can earn as a solo right there. And that duo, I think, is recognizing, yep, this is who we think it is. It's Muzz.
Muzz might even opt to go for the immediate reboot, man. They're at Fencing Fields. Don't want to call it a reckless strategy by any means. He's definitely got the mechs to push back a full duo as a solo, but at the same time, he's got to be wary. It is pretty cool, though, to mention Fencing Fields, the only POI so far today here in NA that's had repeat Victory Royale winners coming out of it. First, Krizik and Yasir, and then Acorn and Cold. And Muzz, just let him get the reboot off, guys.
He's cleaning up house. 2 eliminations now. Get a load of that. You blinked and you missed it, basically. It's over. And we knew it. That team didn't have shield. They were, you know, pushing in and just doing all the wrong things. Muzz is just sharper, faster, cleaner. He gets to watch that back while he gets this reboot here. Take a look. King Expo comes in. Finds him. Box him up. Oh my gosh. And just like that, it's over. What a play for the young Muzz.
Oh, come on, man. Pars and Baka just had to ruin the fun, man. Oh,
I'm out of here.
This is tough, man. You hate to see it. Muzz, you did your best. There's really nothing else that Paper could have possibly asked you for in that situation. Pars and Baka just the right place at the right time. So unfortunately, Muzz not going to be able to stay standing. He's still him, though, for that initial 2 versus 1 scenario.
You know, you could always, you know, the wonderful thing about editing is you could just always end the clip right when we celebrated how great you were and leave out the Baka and Pars steamroll at the very end. Jumping over Rise and Eomzo right now. Things are looking pretty solid for this team, but I do wonder, where's their surge?
Rise probably has the same question, MDF, but keep in mind, Surge a little bit easier to come by when you know every single rotation that you want to make throughout the duration of a match. We've seen Rise and Eomzo kind of playing very consistently for the Forecast Tower, given that they're split, again, one more time to mention, between Pantheon Path and Little Villa, there is a Forecast Tower readily available for them just outside of that hazy hillside tunnel, but that's only if it actually spawns, right? So this game could look a little bit different for Rise and Eomzo, but we've seen them pretty consistently in the late game, and it's not like they've been down bad or anything like that as far as their loadouts are concerned. I think it's more so just trying to play through the haphazardness that continues to take place with the way that some of these zone pulls have been occurring.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, it can go either way. We've seen the pendulum swing. Take a look at Peko Mixon. They got a long ways to go to get to the safety. Meanwhile, King Re and Ritual here playing the bunker, holding it down, keeping it well protected. This means that several other bunkers, of course, across the Fortnite world have now revealed themselves, and we just get a moment to really absorb the loot that they get to pick up from the bunker. It is just so much, right? And it's really, really telling.
It's definitely everything you could ask for and then some, and Reed and Ritual were able to establish so much space surrounding this bunker. They're not really all that concerned about somebody trying to sneak attack them. They're more prioritizing just getting those weapons with the optimal modifications that they would like to operate with throughout the course of this fourth lobby, and same intentions here for Clix and Epic, but this is a little bit of a different sight than what we're used to seeing, because typically it's been Clix and Epic having to kind of duke things out to get claims for the weapon bunker. They do have a couple of weapon bunker options that could potentially spawn from their drop or nearby their drop at Lavish Lair, but we have been seeing Epic and Clix be able to confirm Surge off of those weapon bunker fights, so seeing them lay claims to that one completely uncontested by the looks of things could be problematic for their Surge strategy in the long term in this lobby. But maybe, again, having hit up that weapon mod bench, they might have been able to get some scopes put on those weapons that could help them with maintaining their accuracy onto other players.
Look at this, Peterbottom Boyo single out Edgy here, and they're gonna look to take that fight. Meanwhile, Reet and Ritual from the bunker to the safety of the new zone. A fight breaks out here, and they find Trashy on the run here. Already have an elim, so that's unfortunate for Reet there. Get that chunky shot in response to Trashy's defense there. Well played for him. It's going to buy him some time and really force Reet to dig into these prestigious heals. This is all of a sudden not going the way that they anticipated or expected, for that matter.
It's kind of crazy, though, to think that Ritual and Reet just getting cut off, basically, by Cirque and Rafiki. A little bit of attraction having been pulled towards from that rescue station, and now just a little bit south of Classy Courts, Reet and Ritual. They had some benefits coming, obviously, out of that weapon bunker, but very obvious that they were not anticipating a team like Cirque and Rafiki to kind of just be lurking about, trying to cut them off in their rotation path, essentially.
Bacon and TK here as well, looking to fight pretty much outside the rift here. I wonder if they want to play for the top of the rift. Doesn't look like they're in desperate need, but the positioning nonetheless will be key, as this does seem to be landing right dab smack in the middle of this zone right here. So it's a great spot to secure nonetheless, besides the upgrades that'll yield out. It's Ozone and Golden Ball who have first dibs, though. They get to zip line first. Those are all big missed tags there, right? With that water mythical, this should have been pretty easy for them to connect, but things happen.
Maybe Ozone will be able to generate some new opportunities with this waterbending mythic. For right now, though, just looking to build around the capture point here on Rift Island. Golden and Ozone could both definitely use some of the resources provided by that capture point, but there is a lot of company here at Rift Island now. One less member to deal with, though. B-Dog going to be eliminated by Bacon, and TK getting a chance to try and bring his shields back to full, his white heals back to full as well. Bacon definitely has ample amount of heals for his teammate, but as you can see, TK already with the med kit. Not really too concerned just yet. But Bacon and TK doesn't seem as though they're going to try and collapse immediately onto Golden and Ozone for that capture point. They got to be careful, though. Keep in mind, they will be marked men as soon as that capture point goes off for Golden and Ozone, which I think they were just seconds away from.
Yep, that is what's going to happen here. Bryson Bolt's on the other side, just making a rotate here, trying to get a move on it. A bit far apart from one another, though, and in between multiple duos. There it is. See the Flowberry Fizz starting to play its effect here. You have Zeus on the rotate here as a duo as well. I like what they're doing here for Bryson Bolts here, playing far and away inside the storm, or into the safety, towards this major POI here. This is definitely a more prime spot to be in. Meanwhile, Kanata and Cooper back at these incredibly designed bases, huge structures here to give them full visibility on the outskirts, the surrounding areas.
Bryson Bolts being another one of our potential forecast teams, given that their drop split between Dumpenhazen and Zenith Wall. But It's not easy to come by. I mean, we mentioned forecast towers all day long. It really doesn't matter if you know every zone if you're not able to capitalize off of your rotations and actually encountering other players to try and establish surge. You ask any Fortnite pro out there, 99% of the time they're going to tell you they would rather have, you know, cap surge over everything else. Because when it comes to set lobby, it's by far and away the most difficult thing to come by is Clix trying to get some surge going for himself and Epic. But some missed sniper shots onto Braids.
Ooh, there it is.
There it is.
It's a great tag there, great body tag, 121. Really open things up for them, set themselves up, put them a whole step ahead. The damage required in these types of lobbies here. But the zone's more pressing, and the longer they stick around to fight this team, the more issues they might have later on. And this is a hard decision to make here, where you see your surge, they know they're 258, and they're like, oh, but we have a team here. No one's around. What do we do? Right? Do you stick around and you try to, you know, cheek out a couple tags here, or do you get straight to the zone first? And it seems like they want to stick around and find out instead.
Zone's got to be priority, especially with another team kind of encroaching upon your position. Batman Booga and Rapid just sending some zoning shots, as I like to call them. Didn't manage to clip any of Clix's shield immediately, but Reet and Ritual find themselves in a very similar position. Those teams kind of hanging around now on the Rift Island. In fact, Reet, recognizing the fact he just gets lit up from two separate directions. Have to expect that it's two very different teams that he's got to deal with now. Some very valuable resources gonna be forcibly removed from their loadouts.
By the way, look at the field. Look at the feed. Epic Whale Clix just caught Cooper and Kanata. We know Cooper and Kanata had a crazy base going here. I wonder if Clix actually connected with that sniper shot. Something must have unfolded there. Things have gone terribly, terribly bad, and maybe we curse Kanata and Cooper because we did just fly the stat showing that they've been the only duo to make top 10. Well, scratch that here and now. Take a look at how it goes down. It's the sniper tag from Clix. It's good.
That is so tough, man, because it's not like Kanata was there for that long. It was just a couple of seconds. But that's all it takes for Clix sometimes to register the headshots, and tragic scenario there for Cooper and Kanata. Have to expect that Cooper just got immediately keyed basically after Clix turns him into a solo. But this next rotate could be everything here now for Clix and Epic. Another one of our teams that are definitely searching for a victory royale. They want that immediate shot straight to grand finals.
Take a look at Reet and Ritual. Talk about sticking around and finding out. They've continued to play a little bit slow now. And you see it starting to add up here. Not only is it taken away from what heals they had left, but also the fact that they're flying pretty low on the surge standings there. A couple players, notable players still alive here. Peterbot and Boyo just nearby. They're not going to let Reet fly by for free. There goes the shots coming in from all of the lobby here. Everyone recognizing that there's a new team landing right in the dead center of this new zone. It's a good spot for Reet and Ritual to be in now, but can they get a couple tags here to get comfortable?
Can they even hold this spot is the other question as well, because there's a lot of teams that would love to be where Reet and Ritual are currently at. So I like this from Reet, Ritual. Both just looking to attack from separate angles. Snacky, Sanito caught up in so much action here, but it's gonna be Mixon who'll find himself on the receiving end of Snacky and his aggression, but a nice elimination. It's gonna clear out a little bit of space, buy them some time to figure out where their next rotate is actually going to be at.
See it. This has been the slowest we've seen Peterbot and Boyo move in any setting in what feels like the last 2 seasons. I kid you not. It's been pretty tough semifinals for them so far, but luckily it's a whole weekend in front of them. And it only takes 1 game here to put you right back into that top 25. But this is game 4, and after this, it's game 5, and we'll call day 1 wraps. If you don't pick up a victory royale, you have to continue to play throughout the weekend here. Only wins will send you to the finals right now, this early in the semifinals.
It's definitely crunch time for every single one of these teams, because again, if you don't get that victory royale, at the very least, you want to ensure that you are still maintaining that 6th through 25th spot on leaderboards, because remember, there's rolling lobbies taking place here today as well in our semis lower bracket. 10 games that those players are cycling through, and the top 30 are going to actually be profiting because they'll be moving into upper bracket day 2. So it's really just going to depend on how well some of our current competitors are going to be able to maintain their spots on the leaderboard if they can't find that victory royale outright. And that's a lot of pressure when you really break it all down.
Yeah, definitely. Pressure is on right now for everyone here, as these are the last chances here for day 1. You want to get it out the way. Re and Ritual right now. Single Elim. We saw they were having like we said, a bit of a harder time with Surge as they were making their way into the storm, so they recognize that they have to get busy. And you can see the Surge upgrades right there. 7 to 15, and then they're just on that line, so tags are going to start exchanging. The numbers are going to start jumping up, and if you don't keep up with the pace, you are going to fall behind.
Reed and Ritual definitely trying to get fraggy right now onto Cirque and Rafiki, but they'll abandon ship for the time being. They got to stay ahead. They got to stay with the zone. Edgy Tavern, all the while, chains of
what is going on?
Which direction? Paco operating as a solo. Keep in mind, he lost Mixon relatively early on in this one. So now, Paco, Mixon, they're going to have to bank it all on our final lobby of the day to see whether or not they stay either inside that 6th through 25th or can find that Victor Royale and that immediate entrance to grand finals. But Peterbot and Pollo, I mean, again, you talked about this is the slowest we've seen. This is also one of the best positions we've seen them in so far today. Kind of just trading that serve medallion between each other. Peterbot making sure that he's going to have his underworld dash charges readily available for when they make their next move, but that surge threshold dropping ever lower there for Peterbot and Pollo. They still didn't have eliminations. They're pretty much operating exclusively on what tags are able to collect from everybody below. Clicks connecting big shots here for himself and Epic. Back up above the damage threshold, but still not enough to get comfortable just yet.
Yeah, that sniper is definitely the decision maker, the deciding factor for them. And I am curious of whether or not Peterbot and Pollo have just decided, hey, you know what? Let's just win. Let's just play for a win, right? Taking things a lot slower right now instead of jumping into the box and doing what they've done up until now. Snack is going to go ahead and fall there with his duo. Down he goes, and talking about a team that was playing slow and steady. All of a sudden now they are once again forced to dig into the heels a little prematurely here. This is endgame now. This is where they do shine best, and we haven't really seen them try to shine from the low ground in a game, let alone a calibered lobby like this. They have been the team that has aggressively fought for high ground and made it their business to do what they will with the lobby, but semi-finals is really showing us, these set lobbies are showing us that it's not going to be easy. And as I say that, Peterbot and Pollo time the high ground taken. Look at that. Here comes Clicks and Epic Whale, who have also been fighting for high ground. This might be a best case scenario for Peterbot and Pollo, that Clicks and Epic Whale meet the team that was coming down off of the height that they just took it from, which was Bacon and TK there.
Bacon and TK just impossible to prevent players with those underworld dashes from challenging for height. Clicks, though, from way back, tries to take his odds in that secondary height layer, but now he's scrambling on the low ground. Peterbot, too, forced to drop from above. It's going to be a banana expended but can Peterbot find an opportunity to get that shield potion online? That's the next question. Rise, gonna be the shutdown necessary. Pollo forced to fall back, forced to just try and rock it out in these pre-existing builds underneath that ultimate high ground. A nice elimination onto Ozone's gonna give him some siphon mats, but at the same time, Pollo, he is just left running every which direction, and he just encountered another duo. He can't afford to take that damage.
Yeah, and it's not looking good at all. They just didn't earn a lot of points, so this is going to be a tough game. Believe it or not, I can't believe I'm saying this, for Peterbot and Pollo to remain inside the top 25 at this pace here. Epic Whale, you can see the damage that fighting for high ground has done to him. He is down to 3 green health and just a little bit of shield to work with into the box, but not enough to get the finish there. Rise defends well. Eomzo comes down to try to support his duo mate. And there's not a win condition in hand here other than close this out from the high ground. Bryson Bolt on the low ground here do have a med kit to play for, but it might be a little too late.
It's got to be Bolt that goes for the disruptor factor. Braids, though, eliminated. Bryce still trying to work his way through. Bolt, last man left standing here, just about.
Back to back.
Eomzo and Rise, they're doing everything they can. And that's really all she wrote, as Rise and Eomzo finally find their victory royale. We've seen them searching for it throughout our lobbies here today, MDF. And hey, better late than never.
Eomzo and Rise absolutely deserve that win. It couldn't have went better for them. Clicks and Epic Whale fighting for high ground gave them the chance to snag it themselves. But you know what? It's Bolts who's the standout performer for me right now. Back-to-back second places now, showing that he is here to hang with the Wolves. Let's take a look at from Eomzo's perspective here. He was really turning online, and look, you could have never guessed that he was in the storm there, so just completely catching Peterbot and Pollo offline, really messing up what they had in store. And just like that, they win game number 4. That leaves us with just one more left to play for. Congratulations to Rise and Eomzo there, Taco.
Of course, and Eomzo, of all people, I think. I can't say that I'm surprised to see him being one of the members to shut down Peterbot. He was not going to allow that height overlord to come into play. So just an excellent job all around from Eomzo and Rise. But Zeke, Vivid, Kelly, what did you guys see throughout that one?